If you had told me at the beginning of 2023 that this year would completely change how I think about money, success, and financial freedom, I probably would have laughed. I thought I had money figured out, I earned well, I saved a bit, I invested here and there, but looking back now, I realize I was just playing small. 2023 wasn't just a financial year for me, it was a wake-up call. It forced me to confront my habits, my mindset, and my relationship with money in ways I'd never done before. And by the end of it, I walked away with 7 powerful money lessons that didn't just change my bank account, they changed my life. These lessons reshaped how I earn, spend, invest, and even how I think about the concept of wealth itself. So if you've ever felt like you're working hard but not moving forward, like your money seems to disappear faster than you make it, or like financial freedom always feels just out of reach, then this video is for you. Because once you understand these 7 lessons and apply them, you won't just manage money better, you'll master it. But before we dive in, I want to ask you for a small favor. If you're serious about changing your financial future and want more content that teaches you how to build wealth, grow your mindset, and achieve true financial independence, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a like on this video. It really helps support the channel and allows me to keep sharing life-changing financial wisdom with you. Now, let's get into it. The first lesson that changed my life in 2023 was understanding that money is not just about numbers, it's about behavior. For the longest time, I thought financial success came down to knowledge. If I knew more about investing, if I read more books, if I studied the stock market, I'd eventually figure it out. But knowledge without discipline is useless. What I realized was that every financial decision I made, good or bad, was driven by my habits, emotions, and beliefs. It wasn't about how much I earned, but how I managed what I had. I learned that if you can't control your impulses, you can't control your money. Every time I made an emotional purchase, every time I justified a luxury I didn't need, I was sabotaging my own progress. Once I started tracking my spending, facing my financial reality, and removing emotion from money decisions, everything changed. I built a zero-based budget where every dollar had a purpose. I stopped trying to impress people who weren't paying my bills. I became intentional, not reactive. That shift in behavior alone was worth more than any investment return because it created the foundation for every other lesson that followed. The second lesson was this: your income is your greatest wealth building tool, so protect and grow it relentlessly. We live in a world that glorifies saving pennies, but the truth is, you can only save so much. There's a ceiling to how much you can cut back, but there's no limit to how much you can earn. For years, I focused on saving more instead of earning more, and it kept me stuck. But in 2023, I changed my focus. I asked myself, how can I increase my value in the marketplace? How can I become someone worth more? That meant improving my skills, learning new ones, and finding ways to create multiple income streams. I realized that the people who truly win financially don't just save what's left after spending, they spend what's left after investing. I doubled down on education, networked with mentors, and started projects that had the potential to grow over time. That shift from scarcity to abundance thinking completely reframed my financial life. Instead of saying I can't afford it, I started asking, how can I afford it? That question alone opened doors I didn't even know existed. The third lesson was the importance of paying yourself first. It sounds simple, but most people don't do it. Before 2023, I was guilty of paying everyone else before I paid myself. I'd pay the bills, buy what I wanted, and then whatever was left, I'd save, if anything. But that approach never worked because life always found a way to take the rest. When I flipped the script and started paying myself first, automating savings and investments before paying for anything else, my wealth started growing automatically. I set up automatic transfers to my investment accounts the same day my income hit. I treated saving and investing like non-negotiable bills. This one habit turned my finances around because it forced me to live on what was left instead of hoping there'd be something left. The moment I started doing that, my stress about money dropped dramatically. The truth is, if you don't save before you spend, you'll never save at all. The fourth lesson that transformed me was understanding that debt can either make you or break you. I used to see all debt as bad, something to avoid at all costs. But in 2023, I learned the difference between bad debt and good debt. Bad debt drains you, it's high interest, unproductive, and keeps you trapped. Good debt, on the other hand, can be a tool to build wealth if used wisely. I learned how to leverage credit strategically, using it to invest in assets that produce income rather than liabilities that depreciate. That didn't mean going into reckless borrowing, but understanding that money moves faster when it's leveraged responsibly. I started viewing debt as a servant, not a master. By focusing on paying off high-interest consumer debt and redirecting those payments toward investments, I accelerated my financial progress. I realized that freedom isn't just about having money, it's about not being owned by debt. Lesson 5 was about the power of investing early and consistently. In 2023, I stopped trying to time the market and started focusing on time in the market. I understood that compound interest doesn't reward those who wait, it rewards those who start. Even small, consistent investments made early have the potential to outperform large, inconsistent ones made later. I automated my investments into index funds and dividend stocks, and I treated it like a bill, something that happens regardless of how I feel. What amazed me was how quickly I started seeing results. Watching my money grow without constant effort taught me the real meaning of financial freedom. When your money works harder than you do, I learned to prioritize long-term thinking over short-term gratification. And that one mental shift alone separated me from 90% of people still chasing quick returns. Lesson 6 was mastering the art of living below my means without living below my potential. There's a huge difference between being cheap and being smart with money. Being cheap comes from fear. Being smart comes from wisdom. In 2023, I learned that financial peace doesn't come from deprivation, it comes from alignment. I stopped buying things that didn't match my goals. I learned to find joy in simplicity, not status. Instead of trying to look rich, I started focusing on becoming rich. I realized that true wealth is quiet, it doesn't need validation. It's not about flexing luxury brands or showing off, it's about having options, freedom, and peace of mind. Living below my means allowed me to invest more aggressively, take calculated risks, and sleep better at night knowing I was building something real, not performing for approval. The 7th and final lesson was the most powerful one of all. Your mindset determines your financial destiny. In 2023, I learned that wealth begins in the mind long before it shows up in the bank. I used to think success was about external things, money, assets, opportunities, but everything changed when I started reprogramming my beliefs around abundance. I stopped saying I can't and started saying I can learn. I stopped thinking rich people were lucky and started studying how they think. I began practicing gratitude daily, not just for what I had, but for what was coming. That shift attracted better decisions, better people, and better opportunities. When you truly believe you're capable of building wealth, you start acting like it. You stop procrastinating, you stop self-sabotaging, and you start aligning your habits with your goals. That's when everything changes. Looking back, 2023 wasn't just a year of lessons, it was a year of transformation. I stopped letting money control me and started taking control of my financial story. These 7 lessons: behavior over knowledge, growing income, paying yourself first, mastering debt, consistent investing, living below your means, and building a wealth mindset became the pillars of my financial foundation, each one built on the other. And together, they created momentum that I can carry for life. But here's the thing, these lessons only matter if you apply them. Information changes nothing without execution. The reason these lessons changed my life wasn't because I heard them, it's because I lived them. I took imperfect action. I failed. I learned. And I grew. And that's what I want for you. Don't just listen to this video and move on. Pick one lesson and start applying it today. Maybe it's tracking your spending, starting that side hustle, setting up an automatic investment, or paying down that one debt that's been holding you back. Whatever it is, start now, because every day you delay, you're giving up compound growth, missed opportunities, and the version of yourself who could already be financially free. Remember this, wealth is not about luck, it's about alignment. When your habits, mindset, and strategy align with financial principles that work, success becomes inevitable. And if you're ready to make that shift, 2024 can be your breakthrough year, the year you stop surviving and start building generational wealth. So as we wrap up this recap, I want to leave you with one final truth. Your financial future isn't determined by your past. It's determined by your decisions right now. 2023 taught me that transformation doesn't happen overnight, it happens the moment you decide you've had enough of staying the same. So decide today, because the life you want is waiting for the person you're becoming. If this video brought you value and helped you think differently about money, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next video that could completely shift your mindset and accelerate your growth. Let's make 2024 the year you step into financial mastery, build real wealth, and take full control of your life.